TV.com to get started. So Suni Lee expecting to be there in Tokyo. Two-time U.S. all-around silver medalist, including just a few weeks ago in Fort Worth. And so they're about to start rotation number 3. This right now, a look at her effort in the second rotation on balance beam, guys.
And once again, starts with that wolf turn. Triple turn into a double. So she is able to do it twice, just because the first one is 3 times around, the second one just 2. Gorgeous combination. Doesn't necessarily look as difficult as some of the other combinations, but it really is because of the way she loses sight, just like that skill right there. Loses sight of the balance beam by throwing her head back.
This is pretty difficult also. Wow, that was spectacular right there.
Double twist. You know, I think that might be one of the best beam routines that we have seen from her this season.
And remember what she did on uneven bars. So you put that together with this number, 14.733. She was up above 15 on uneven bars to start. First thing we saw tonight. And the opening 2 rotations, it's Suni Lee leading the way. Simone Biles in second. Now, you got Simone's best event still to come, but that's pretty impressive. Michaela Skinner with that number on vault, and then Jordan Childs. Remember, it was Simone Biles, Suni Lee, Jordan Childs, the top 3 at the national championships a few weeks ago.
Yeah, people at home, don't panic. The GOAT will remain. She's out of this world great on the next 2 events.
But also, let's not take away from what Suni Lee just did on the first 2 events. I mean, those are her strongest 2 events, and she did exactly what she needed to do, especially on that first event, the uneven bars. As we've talked about, she could be the best in the world on that event.
But see, that's where she gets her phone out and takes a screenshot of the standings and says, I am on top of the leaderboard ahead of Simone Biles.
Yeah, she better have. Oh, golly.
So you've got 2 rotations in the books and 2 more to go. And Emma Malabuyo in 11th place after the second rotation. And just a few moments literally ago, her effort on floor.
And that was a really great routine from Emma right there. You see that execution, so 8.1 out of that 10.0.
Talk about the injury she's had in the past. Pretty significant, a back injury and then a fractured tibia. Finally got a chance at the U.S. Championships. Came through. Kayla DiCello, see where she is after 2 rotations. Live look on floor.
Had some uncharacteristic mistakes at the national championships, but Kayla is back on track here tonight.
Glad you knew where that line was. Yeah. I don't know how you did it, but you did now.
I was just about to say that.
You feel good? Yeah, way to go. Man, you had nice rotation. You just got to see it and trust it. Stay on two. Hey, another one. Good job.
Yeah, after her uncharacteristic problems, Kelly Hill told me that we did a lot of work. She said no one's going to love you more if you make an Olympics, and no one's going to love you less if you don't. It's all going to be fine.
So supportive every time we've listened in after every one of these routines. Now,
Tim, that could not be any more true. I love that.
Leanne Wong in 5th place after the 2nd rotation, and her effort on balance beam right there, top 5 in the mix.
This has such tremendous lines. Great toe point, locks legs. Oh. Wow. So we have seen now both the 4th and the 5th competitors from the U.S. Championships both come off the beam. Remember, I said that there were about 6 gymnasts that were about a half a point from each other, fighting for that 4th spot.
The dismount, triple twist. Oh,
wow.
Just didn't quite have the power.
And there's that number, really disappointing, 11.5 for Leanne Wong. And Tim, that doesn't mean those top 3 that you reference are locks.
No.
It's just what's favored to happen. That's the way you size things up. And then that open spot, you saw that number, a good one a moment ago. Jordan Shiles now in 4th after the 2nd rotation. She is one of those top 3 gymnasts along with Simone Biles and Suni Lee, who you would expect to grab 3 of the 4 team spots.
And she has got just ginormous power on this event as well. She'll do a double layout with a full twist, and she stylizes it. So beautiful to start off her routine. And the flag goes up, and I believe that both of her feet were out of bounds. 1 foot out of bounds, it's a 10th. 2 feet, 3/10 off.
Wow, what a great routine. Besides that opening tumbling pass, which was so difficult, but wasn't able to stay in bounds there.
Cecile Landy, one of her coaches there, she said when Jordan came in, she had so little confidence in herself. Made a huge transition, and she looks about as confident as anybody on the floor.
Well, Tim, you go back a few years, a silver medal at the U.S. Championships in the all-around in 2017. She was left off the World Championship team. She was discouraged, maybe even going to give up the sport, and her mom was critical in bringing her back, motivating her, but also Simone Biles, as you take a look, and saying, why don't you come to Texas and train with me?
The line is in. And,
I don't know.
well, one of them was definitely out, but I don't think that the judges have the ability to slow it down like that in real time. It's going to be interesting. It'll show up as a neutral deduction.
But, you know, in the big scheme of it, the big picture, stepping out of bounds like that is really not that huge of a deal right here, right now. Of course, when you look at the final results and the all-around standings, the top 2 are automatic locks. So yes, every single 10th of a point matters. And when the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place are so close, you're going to be looking back thinking, I wish I didn't do that.
Besides her coach, it was Simone Biles who greeted her right after that routine. And, you know, came from Vancouver, Washington, moved down to Spring, Texas, trains alongside Simone Biles, who's really been a leader there. And at the U.S. Championships, it was Simone Biles who would talk to her after every routine and basically keep her confidence at a high level, and she's been outstanding this season.
Yeah, she broke down crying after her last routine at the National Championships, and of course Simone telling her how she deserved to be here, how proud she was.
You know, at the beginning of the season, she said something to me that really struck me. I asked her what her goal was for the first competition. She said, going out with 100% of myself. I don't think anyone has ever seen it before. They have now.
She's frustrated that first tumbling pass.
Yeah. Timothy and Gina are parents, named after Michael Jordan. We've talked about it. Owns about 50 Jordans at home. Got sneakers everywhere. And oftentimes she cannot watch. But she, there you go. Team Chick, because that's her nickname. That's Jordan's nickname.
That's called the mom and dad squirm.
So you see that penalty, the 1/10 right there. So only 1 foot went out of bounds.
13.6 and change. Over to the gymnast in first place after 2 rotations, Suni Lee. What a night it's been for her.
You know, we often talk about peaking at the right time, and Suni Lee is truly doing just that. Earlier on in the season, wasn't quite there, but she has gotten so much stronger as the season has gone on, as we get closer and closer to Tokyo.
Fantastic effort for Suni. She's, you know, recovering from a foot ankle injury, not quite all the way back. Only did 3 tumbling passes, capable of doing 4. Here's one of them, but every single time has been getting better and better. Look at the height she's going to get on this. 2 flips, 2 twists, 1 piece of air. Fabulous. She was second best in the world the last time Worlds were contested. But I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah, last year when everything reopened and you were able to go back and train in the gym, a couple of weeks later she broke a bone in her left foot coming down off bars and was in a boot for 4 to 5 weeks, additional 2 to 3 weeks of physical therapy, and then had trouble with her Achilles once she came back. And still it's bothersome, but lately it has felt a lot better. Wait for that number, but next up, Simone Biles, the 7-time U.S. all-around champ. And yes, there is something named after her on floor.
2 things.
Yeah.
So this is just ridiculous. When we first saw this, she's going alongside Eddie Penev. Unbelievable triple twisting, double somersault. Only 2 people competing now that are doing that. It's incredible.
Just the height that she gets is just out of this world. And look at this.
Look at that.
It is just unreal. You know, so often so many people ask, but how and why is she that much better than everybody? And it's moments like this where you actually pause it. It's because of that.
There are some things that she does that you just go, that is not possible. You shouldn't be able to do that. 13.233 for Suni Lee.
That was very interesting. She had a couple of little tiny things in there, but that was much more strict than I thought they were going to be.
There is Simone.
The first Biles, or the one we just saw, is the first pass, and the first skill that was named after her, we'll see it in the second pass.
best ever.
Yeah, I think so too. She's so powerful, a lot of times she can't stay in bounds. That's what I was going to say. She oftentimes is so powerful, she just bounces out of the area of the floor. I don't think there was even one of them in that routine.
And, you know, we've seen a lot of athletes have so much more power here. It's a different floor, speed floor, but look at this tumbling pass. Of course, the Biles triple twisting, double back. Like as
on
if
the big
it's just,
screen, too.
Yes, oh my gosh. Wow.
Just incredible.
So much power, so much getting done. So there's 2 flips. A lot of people can do that. A lot of people, not a lot, but many can do a double twisting double, but she is the only woman to ever do this on floor exercise. 3 twists, 2 flips. That's why, one of the reasons, there are many, that she's the GOAT.
And to be honest, there may have been a few people in the booth who had their phones out too, taking pictures. Woo, indeed.
I think we should see a 15 here. I don't know. 14.95 was her best score at Nationals, but she had 1/10 off in going out of bounds. I think the landings were better here.
On any given night, as a gymnast, you're going to have your A game or not. It's when you don't have it that makes the difference. And I mean, is that true during a routine like that for her as well?
You know, I think for somebody like Simone, and really, there really is nobody like Simone, but for her, it doesn't even matter if she does step out of bounds or she has a mistake. She is that much better than everybody else, both in the difficulty, in the execution. It's the overall package that she has. So going into a competition, she has no competition.
Yeah.
She's competing against herself. She's trying to be better than she was at Nationals, at the last competition.
How about that number, guys? 15.366.
Gigantic. It's a great number. Look at that difficulty. 6.8. Wow.
Leave the number up. Just you got to take a picture of that, too. Unbelievable, which is an overused word in sports. But guess what? Simone Biles, unbelievable. Wow. Back in St. Louis, a reminder, in addition to our live TV coverage here on NBC, you can check out NBCOlympics.com or the NBC Sports app to stream all individual apparatus so you can see what's going on in real time on all 4. NBCOlympics.com, NBC Sports app.
And it's a card.
Michaela Skinner.
Hi, Dory, I love you.
Yep.
You're beautiful. I worship you. Keep going.
That's what happens at these things. All right, short time to go. Her effort on beam.
And you saw that graphic. She is presently in 3rd place in the all-around. And this right here is her trademark skill. So hard to do it in combination.
Wow, perfect. You know, in talking about Suni earlier, like, in my opinion, I think she has also, throughout the season, really has been peaking at the right time. Has had some mistakes earlier on in the other competitions, but so far, so good.
Yeah, Michaela told me, I feel I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm peaking at the right time, and boy, is she ever. She's also capable of doing a full twisting double. Don't know if we'll see that here, or this has already happened. I didn't see it. There it is.
Not making it easy for the selection committee here this weekend.
No, fourth in the all-around back in the trials in 2016, but an alternate for Rio. Wants a ticket to Tokyo. Look at that number. Back with a look at the 18-year-old from Minnesota, Grace McCallum, as we continue here night one of two for the women at the U.S. Olympic team trials. Top names like Simone Biles. Got one event left, the last rotation to close out night one. Pretty interesting what we've seen so far, with Suni Lee being absolutely terrific through 3 rotations, right there at the top with Simone.
Yeah, the top 3. Suni Lee, you know, obviously Simone Biles and Jordan Childs. They have just been rock solid. We said that going in, you know, it's kind of been that way all year long.
What to break with that routine from Michaela Skinner, though. I mean, that's another name. So you got Biles, you got Suni Lee, you got Jordan Childs, those 3 from the championships. But Michaela Skinner right there in the mix. And, you know, Skinner coming back from college and has commiserated with Simone. They've talked about, quote unquote, being old and competing. Out to floor with Grace McCallum.
Talked to her coach, Sarah. She said she had such a great few weeks of training in between the national championships, coming into the Olympic trials. Once again, struggled with injuries earlier throughout the season and is finally just peaking at the right time here.
That was awesome.
Yeah, coming back with that fractured hand, plate and 7 screws in that hand. All right, Kara Aker, the 18-year-old from Grand Valley, Missouri, and certainly one of those hopefuls. Maybe lost some ground the last couple of events, certainly at the national championships. Terrific on beam and still hopeful that she could earn a ticket to Tokyo.
And she is just spectacular on this event when she hits every single element, every single dance move. It just flows so naturally.
In the first day of competition at the 2018 World Championships, she had the 2nd place score to Simone on balance beam. Unfortunately fell off in the finals, but she's got a lot of titles. Pan-Am champion on this event.
Whoa.
And a good save there.
Yeah, and that's one of those skills, Nastia. You pointed it out earlier. You toss your head back, you lose sight of the beam, and it is very, very risky. was a great routine. Had that one little bobble, but very strong exercise.
And this would be her ticket to Tokyo, that balance beam. 14.4, the number for Aker, who has been right there, finished second at the U.S. National Championships a couple of times, but fifth this time around. So we'll see if she can be in the mix on night 2. The number for Grace McCallum, 14.166, as we continue. Look ahead to that final rotation here in St. Louis.